Hello, y'all. Welcome to the channel, Hooligan X Motorsports. My name is June. I guess you would call it the founder. I'm here at my shop. My buddy Rick has influenced me to go ahead and start making some content. So this is going to be my first real YouTube video. I want to show y'all what I'm up to at the shop and how's it going. So welcome to the channel. Come on inside. All right, so what we have down here is a 600 square foot lower deck area. And right now it's just being used for storage. So it's really not much to show, but just to give y'all a quick gist, we will revisit it once we start working in this area. We're gonna have a wall, doorway right here, sink, toilet, TV in front of the toilet so you don't miss any of the Alabama or LSU game. Shower down there. Wall's gonna be somewhere up in this area. It'll be a concession area, fake ticket booths, and the rest will be the movie theater. We'll get to that once we start working on this area. But what I do want to point to down here is the structure of the mezzanine, okay? Now, this is all framed with I-beams and 8-inch I-beams and 11 gauge 8-inch purlins. And if you look in what appears to be reclaimed wood, it's actually 3/4 inch tongue and groove plywood that I, every 8 inches, cut a groove into, stained randomly to give the effect of reclaimed wood. So that's the whole theme of most of the shop, is using reclaimed look, or even if it's not, if it's fresh material, we're gonna go ahead and make it look reclaimed. So had an engineer sign off on it. I came up with the diagram how I wanted it, got an engineer to sign off on it, and I employed my good friend Jose Martinez of Joe's Metalworks, and he and I got in here, of course, most of his doing, cut, lifted. I'll show some videos of how we lifted some of this stuff into place, and we completely welded it. And I want to side note, somebody told me that this wasn't possible, so that's why that person's not working on my project no more. But this right now is just storage. So we're going to go into the showcase area. Not going to show you much there because it's a complete mess, but we'll give you a quick gist of that. So we're going in here in the showcase, which by no means is in any, it's not ready. So I'm thinking we're going to do a little sitting area here because we will have the room once this is all cleaned up. But what I wanted to show y'all right now is the wall coverings that we're going with. Now, we're in South Texas. Hurricanes every 5 minutes, okay? Which means that there's fence posts always laying around and fence pickets. And people are readily happy for you to haul off. So that's what I do. I go around collecting fence pickets. I hit them with the pressure washer to clean them off, give them a light sand. And I'm doing a uniform stain here, which is called Ipswich. Now, the reason why the boards don't look uniform because there's different grades. Okay, so that's what I'm doing with that. And I do a little bit of a chair rail here. Now, this is purchased stock from Lowe's, of course. What is this? A 1x1 and 1x2, and then this is a 1x4. To kind of give me like a chair rail, which I'll be running an LED underneath. And here is corrugated tin from a barn in Schulenburg. So that customer, person that I purchased it from on Facebook Marketplace, they took this barn down. I think they said it was built in the 20s. And I bought it in 10-foot sheets. So I took it to my man Joe, had him cut them down to 3-foot sheets. And now I've got that set up as sort of like a wainscoting. So like I said, we're in the showcase area. It's gonna have like a reclaimed barn look in here. I wanna point out that we're collecting license plates from all 50 states. So if you got one that you wanna donate to the channel and send to us, to the shop, that'd be great. We got another channel opportunity there for LED strips. So we're gonna really light this place up, make it look like a sports bar. But I just wanted to cover the wall coverings. And one of the things that I'm gonna be doing on this wall, because as you come in here, the stairs will start right about in this area and lead up toward the balcony. We've already purchased the materials. Joe is in the process of fabricating the stairs. Gonna have wood decking for the actually steps. But alongside this wall, I think I'm gonna do a barrage of photos for every time somebody comes to, like the first time coming to the shop. So that's kind of like a little shrine that we're gonna have. If you're close to me, you'll be on this wall. If you're not, it's no hard feelings. It's just, hey man, we have a very small circle. But we're gonna have those pictures that you can kind of look at as you're going up the stairs. But that's what this stretch of wall is gonna be for. So we'll move on to what we're doing under the balcony. All right, so currently we're at the balcony. We're at the lower section. The balcony is 5 foot wide by 20 foot long, and it's supported with 3/16 4x4 posts and some shorter purlins, which is still tied into the bigger I-beams. And what the plan under the balcony is, alongside this wall, I have my professional black motorsports professionals, such as Jesse Iwuji, Jason Britton, you name it. I'm gonna have about 6 of those in light boxes here. And we're gonna have 3 tables with stools. One of them's gonna be a possibly Route 66. The other one's gonna be a Harley Davidson table. And then we have another table that we're gonna do a little quick bit on. Was designed by my wifey and built by my buddy Buka over at Buka's Customs, which we had that done for a trade show that we went to Indianapolis back in 2007, back when we was working for a helmet company, which was great times back then. But at the end of the balcony on the wall, we're gonna have a 55-inch TV, because to make this feel like a sports bar, we definitely gotta have like a ton of monitors around. So, you know, if we're here watching the Super Bowl, all the screens will be on Super Bowl. If it's the Bama LSU game, all the screens on the game. Other times when we're just chilling, I'm having just like meets, I'll probably throw on a bunch of different car movies, maybe some Jay Leno's Garage, different stuff to give you the real feel, because overall this is a car shop, just a personal shop. And that pretty much covers the balcony. Okay, so this is a table that I mentioned earlier. Once again, just to reiterate, my wife came up with this concept, and so at the time there was only one person we knew who could build it, and that was Buka. This is circa around 2006. Because the show that we took this table to was in Indianapolis in 2007, the Dealer Expo. Back then we was doing some contract work for a helmet company. And when we took this table to the show, people were actually asking if we sell them. And it was a pretty big hit. And the coolest thing about this table is we have photos. If you ever used to watch Chip Foose, the guy who used to paint the True Fire for him, Mike Lavelli, we actually got photos of Mike Lavelli signing autographs at this exact table. He himself even liked it. So we'll be sure to put some photos up of him. Rest in peace, Mike Lavelli. But just want to show y'all a close up. It has a glass that goes on top of it, but of course we have it put up until all the shop work is done. So I just wanted to show y'all a close up of what the third table will look like. Okay, so what we have here is a 5 foot by 2 foot bar that's going to be in the bar pass-through window, which I'll be able to show you guys when we go upstairs. This is made from, I got 2 glued layers of plywood on the back, and then on the front, this is actually fence pickets, okay? Now, this is before my days of properly doing things and planing it down, so I had to hit it with the belt sander as best I can. It's a little wavy, but I'm okay with that because I am going for a rustic look. Even the edges is fence pickets, okay? Rounded off the corners. And then back here, I left this little channel, so I'm an LED craze. So I will be hiding LEDs, and once I show you upstairs, you'll have a better understanding of where this is gonna look. But what I'm gonna have to do is cut a notch out on both sides to show where the wall goes, because this bar is not just gonna fit inside the window. From both sides, it's actually gonna extend past the window. So I'll show you that as we go upstairs. Matter of fact, let's do that right now. Y'all had $1 for every time I've been up these stairs. Okay, so we're up on the balcony. So this is what the view would look like as we maybe throw in an event. Lord knows one day this is going to be a different view though, but we're not going to even talk about the cars right now. So we're up on the balcony. The balcony, like I said, is 5 foot this way, 20 foot that way. And I want to talk about that bar that we spoke of. Okay, so that bar is going to go here. The bar is 60 inches long, and this is a 42-inch opening. So what I want to explain, the reason why I'm gonna cut those notches out is so that I can stick it in this way and drop it down and slide it. And I want to send a thanks to somebody, Mr. David Doucette. because I was going to cut this bar into 2 sections and put them in like this. And he was like, dude, you're probably going to compromise some of your structural rigidity. He said, you can't just put it in at an angle and drop it. And I was like, you know what, man? It's a really good idea. I'm going to test it. So I do want to give him his credit. He gave me the idea, just build the bar in 1 section and just drop it in. So the whole premise of that is we'll have 2 stools here. There's 4, but we'll have 2. We'll have the 2 outlets with USB. So if you're chilling here at the bar, 55-inch right here on top of the balcony that you can check out. The other 2 bar stools will be over here. So you can conversate, and we'll have a slide through pocket window that goes up in the wall. That's going to be, so when we're in here chilling, we can just put it down and let the HVAC do its thing. So just wanted to take a little time out, show you what this bar is going to look like. We're calling it the pass-through bar. Now we'll go inside. Okay, so now I'm on the other side of the pass-through bar. Once again, just to reiterate, we're going to build a wall right about right here, and the pocket window will slide straight up. But I just put one of these stools in place to kind of show you. There'll be a area to just chill right here. Once again, we'll have the outlets with the USB ports. I started on the wall covering on this side. I actually complete the other side, which I'll show you in a second. So this is how this wall is going to be. Okay, just the same wall coverings. I do want to talk about this inset area. Now we can easily just cover this up, but I wanted to keep it as an inset. And then I had these 2 pictures that I designed. Maybe I'll put a little B-roll of them up. They're just some generic, unrealistic whiskey brands that I kind of designed for some posters I want to make as light boxes. But my wife was like, she's a hell of a decorator. This is a focal point. You have to do something that's more, eye-catching, not just 2 pictures of liquor signs. And like instantly, whenever she corrects me like that, I'm like, that's why you're the decorator. So we're going to put probably the logo of the bar. And just so you know, the bar is called the Depot Balcony Bar and Kitchen. You should know why I'm calling it the Depot, because the real Depot is where I go. There's a lot of smack talking and a lot of crazy stuff happening. So the name of this upstairs area is the Depot Balcony Bar and Kitchen. So we'll probably do an illuminated sign there, and depending on the spacing, might run a piece of wrought iron, industrial pipe with some beer taps under it. So we're not 100% sure on that just yet. All right, so now I want to move on and talk about this back wall that's going to be in the bar area. And this is pretty much the gist of what we're shooting for. Something along these lines. We're definitely going to have the beverage cooler. Definitely going to have the stonework. Definitely going to do the stone columns, which is kind of overkill, but man, I really, really want to do it. But we did do a slight revision to what we want to do, and I'll put that on screen right about now. There we go. Okay, so like I said, have the beverage cooler here. We're going to have a server rack somewhere here because we're going to have a complete media server to where no matter what screen you're on inside the entire shop, you can, just go through, watch a movie, do whatever. All right, so now we're going to move on to this front main mezzanine wall, which is opposite of where the doorway is going to be. And this wall, my wife wanted to restage this. I'll drop just a few pictures for a few seconds to show you what this area looks like before I put this wall up. Got it? All right, here we go. We're going to have an entertainment stand here, 65-inch TV inside the entertainment stand. Going to do a network drop, but I wanted to see what this wall looked like. We love this side of stain, this type of stain. The trim is purchased stock, but all the rest of this is reclaimed wood, fence pickets. And I have marked the 3 locations of where we're going to have to put outlets. So I'm actually going to have to take this down, number it. But before I do that, take my isolating saw and cut out my holes for my outlets. And then we're going to trim it off even. But I just wanted to show the progress on this wall. I actually completed this in the last 2 days. So, all right, so we're going to talk about the back wall in the mezzanine area. I don't want to go into a lot of details because we got a lot of stuff blocking it. We did pick up this faux fireplace at a resale shop for like $30-something. So we're going to gut that out and put an electric fireplace. Of course, we're going to raise it, do somewhat of a mantle. And this is just an example of what we're going to do with that wall. And we do have a life-size statue of Jack Daniels. So half of it's going to be on the bar side is going to be Jack Daniels themed. Some bookshelves with some Jack Daniels paraphernalia and memorabilia. Like the fireplace, the mini split will be up here. Then we'll transition over to some railroad memorabilia. we got a surprise on what kind of railroad mural you're going to do. We're not going to tell anybody about that, but that's something that we're planning. There's a lot of logistics involved. We'll have a screen over here, and this will take you into the kitchenette area, of which we'll move on to and show you what the sample of that is. All right, so I'm up against the back wall. Yeah, we're getting hard shadows, but we don't have any light back here, so we have to use a photography light. This back wall is going to be our kitchenette. That's why this whole upstairs area is called the Depot Balcony Bar and Kitchen. And I'm going to hold up the sample that I found on Google. So we're pretty much going to mirror this on this back wall. Okay, this is pretty much exactly what we want it to look like. The stone will be matching what's in the bar area. And I want to show one more aspect of that. Right here, if you look where the tape is, we're going to put another island bar right here that's for eating. So turn around, you can prepare a meal, turn around, serve it. Here we go. And then probably another 55-inch right here in this corner. And I want to point out these overhead bars that Joe and I added. Now, these do not serve any structural purpose, but they're going to be painted black, and up against the wood ceiling, it'll be a good accent. And we're going to hang pendant lightings from them. So that's where we're doing. That's what we're doing with that. This kind of covers the gist of the upstairs area. So we'll go ahead and move on to some Q&A to just answer some questions some of you guys might have. And what we'll do from this point on to try to build the channel is give you guys, try to do a minimum of monthly updates until we build, the team to help video and do stuff. So I want to say shout out to my man Rick for coming up. He traveled quite a distance to come film for us and ask the questions. So we're going to go on to that part of the video right now.
Okay, so Vitar, we're out here at your Man Museum, and this is my first time being here. And I don't think when I arrived here, I didn't think the pictures that you showed me did this place much justice. It's much bigger than I thought it was by pictures. Okay. But I wanted to ask you, what was the inspiration behind building and planning a project like this?
Well, some of the people watching already know I'm a car addict. Mm-hmm. I'm really big into cars, and the more cars we started collecting, the more they spread from the garage to the driveway and then into storages. Mm-hmm. And what happened when you have storages? They keep going up.
Right.
Now, any car guy, no matter what level you're on, want a shop. Whether it's a detached garage that the kids don't go in, no matter what. I don't know a car guy that does not dream of having a shop. But when you have the addiction as bad as I do, and then you also have a wife that support the addiction,
right,
you end up with a pretty huge collection pretty fast.
I wanted to mention that this is a great example of what a man and wife team backing each other can accomplish.
Oh, well, that's a whole nother video.
Right.
And I don't mind us covering that in a different video.
Right, but I did want to mention that Teresa is a big part.
Oh yeah, huge part.
Of this taking place.
Huge part. I mean, matter of fact, this, just for those who don't know, this shop is built on land purchased from her mom, at which one point this land was her grandparents' land. So it has passed on through generations by purchase, I want to add, but. So yeah, Teresa's being a huge part. I couldn't do this without my wife. I wouldn't do it without her blessing, mm-hmm. And all I can say is I know that a lot of guys couldn't do this because of their wives. It's not saying that they have bad wives, that just don't support something this unique. This legacy. I mean, it's bigger than me though. It's a legacy. Mm-hmm. And like you said, you're going to be helping me with the channel. So one of the things three things I always want to say that we're trying to do, that's inspire, educate, and entertain. Okay. So if you never wanted to get in this, or if you do want to get in this type of stuff, we want to inspire you. Mm-hmm. And then if you don't know how, hopefully we can educate you along the way, not just with building the shop, but once we start actually building the cars.
Well, listen, a lot of I hear you when you're explaining your process, mm-hmm. and I see that you are doing a lot or most of the work yourself.
Yeah.
What besides the money, what made you want to do most
of the money doesn't go without mention, man, because I will just touch on the money for a second. Mm-hmm. Contractors, they're up and down, man. If they you can just kind of feel them out. Like if they just think you got money, they're going to base their price based on what they think you have.
What they see.
Yes. So instead of work with you long term, so that's an issue. But once, and I'm not going to say any names or anything like that, but I've had some experience with. I started off trying with contractors, but then the more I got into it, the more complex this idea became. The more I realized, man, you're just gonna have to do this yourself because the amount of money, even if let's just say right now, I snap my fingers and an honest contractor just showed up. Hey, I'm gonna work with you long term. I want to see your vision happen. It's still gonna cost a lot of money.
Right.
So that money's been freed up for materials.
Right.
And unfortunately, with the help of her being on Facebook Marketplace, has caused us to buy a couple more projects since we built this place. That's just a joke, but it is true. But one of the big things is a sense of pride. Like, I don't care what people say. I don't care. I've had people make comments about the wells. I've had people make comments about this. Hey, but I'm doing this.
And it's a learning process.
It's a learning process.
For you to learn.
Yes, it's a learning
and better
process.
your skills
and better my
at
skills.
doing more projects that will that go along with this.
I actually had a guy, Mr. Rayford Abraham. I just showed him some pictures, and he was like, "Dude, people probably would pay you to do this." Now, I don't think he meant like from a construction point, but like saying, "Hey, man, I want a man cave, but I don't know where to start." Yeah, conceptually, and some of the stuff with it. But I will say, on the inspiration aspect about what I'm doing to anybody, man, it's like going to the gym. You just got to take the first step. I hear people all the time, and they'll talk about they wish. I don't wish for anything, and I'm not trying to sound condescending or arrogant. I don't wish for anything. I just try. And
try. Well, another thing I mentioned earlier in the day was that I've known you a long time.
Very long time.
And ever since I've known you, you've been on a different level of achieving things. Like the way that you process and do things is different from regular concepts that people can come up with. You've always been majorly creative, but also that majorly accurate and precise with the things you do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like in addition to like storing and working on your cars, what other purpose will your shop have?
It's gonna be, well, first of all, the number one purpose is gonna be, working on the cars and stuff like that. The second purpose is gonna be an absolute place of zen for my wife and I. Like
a getaway.
I think one time she read a quote to me that said, your retirement place your place should not be a place you vacation from. It should be a place you vacation to. So I'm putting in a lot of effort now. And one of my mentors, Mr. John Hovas, the owner of the Hemi Hideout in Brookshire, Texas. I'll drop just a photo of that place. That place is insane. Like he said, hey man, I didn't build this till I was in my 60s. And at the time I just turned, it was on my 49th birthday. And he was like, do it now. He said, because you'll have plenty of time to enjoy it.
Because this place is more than just a workshop for cars.
Yeah, it's way more.
As they can see in the video,
yeah,
that it encompasses the bar,
yeah,
the theater. And so when you say that this is a place to get away, I can understand that.
Yeah, well, I'm a movie buff.
Right.
So even though we didn't cover much in the theater is going to be as close as we can. We'll
catch some of that later.
Yeah. So sometimes I just want to relax and watch movies.
Right.
Sometimes it might be a movie that I've seen 50 times, and it just hits me. I want to watch that movie.
Yeah, yeah.
See, you got some people, they can watch a movie one time, and that's it. They're done. Me, I can watch the same movies over and over.
Man.
When you're
just
true
like I've seen it the first time.
Just like you've seen it the first time. One of them being Caddyshack. But we'll talk about that at a different time.
What? So like, I know these are your projects.
Yeah.
But are you going to allow other people to come and bring their cars in here to be worked on?
Absolutely not.
I mean, by you or...
No, absolutely not. And even though that might sound terrible, that's not the purpose of why I'm building it.
Okay.
So I don't want to sound like, I'm special. Nah, it's just, I've worked on other people's cars. Actually, I have two that I need to finish and get going. And I'm not saying nothing about those two people. It's just that I don't want to feel any pressure when I'm in here. You see what I'm saying? So let's say once we get the lifts put in, somebody comes, brings the lift, and let's say they know how to do their own work. well, how long are you gonna tie my lift up?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh man, I need to leave. It's all right if I leave it here, right? I just want to avoid.
You are involved in this.
Yes, no, I'm involved in. So I want to avoid that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, long-term future, if I was to build a badass build team, and we're kind of moving the car around, like let's say it comes here for quote unquote, I don't know, suspension work.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes to say Joe for metal work. We might do something like that,
but not nothing extensive.
Yeah, not just, you know, the run of the mill. You're driving a 2015 Honda Accord. You want to come here and do your brakes.
Right.
No, I'm not gonna. That's not. And it's just truthfully, that's just not what I'm building this for.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the build is an very elaborate building, but do you have any plans to make your shop bigger or expand on this building?
That sweeping shot you got at the showcase area should answer that question.
Okay.
We're jam packed. My wife one time made the comment like, "Man, we're down the hamster trails," and I would say this though. I will say this on the size of the shop thus far. The shop is a 40 by 60, and once we did the mezzanine, we added another 600 square feet, so it's a total of 3,000 square feet, which is nothing compared to say like a commercial shop and some of the established shops out there.
Yeah.
But this building initially was going to start off as a 30 by 80, which is 2,400 square feet as well as 60 by 40 is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll drop the photo in there. I was having a conversation with Mr. John Hovas of the Hemi Hideout, and he does like this. He said, "Young man, why are you building your building 30? And I realized I didn't have a good, strong answer. I was like, well, I figured, you know, I can get a car in and some tools. And he just started shaking his head. You know, he said, listen to me, young man. You build your building 40. He said, you're going to regret it 30. 40 is enough.
Mm-hmm.
You can always add length. You can't add width. And you know what I told that man? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And basically leaving from there, I called my contractor, change of plans. And I was like, man, it's the same square foot. Shouldn't affect cost.
Yeah.
You know, because some contractors will be like, well, that's going to be
a bit more.
It was the same square footage. So we went 40 and shortened it.
Mm-hmm.
But to directly answer your plans, yes, we're going to add 70 feet to the building.
Okay.
So when completed, the center section will be 40 by 130. Okay. And then we're going to lean to off both sides. So one side would be like a storage stash, you know, machine shop area, and the other side would be more of like a patio area.
Okay.
So there is plans to expand, but a little bit at a time, and that's where the merch and everything come in. Any type of support, just DM us. We will start pushing merch. I'm not trying to just make this a plug, but that's what the channel's about.
Yeah.
How do we manifest this?
Right.
But to answer your question, yes, we are going to expand.
So the most people that build shops or garages or what have you, it's solely a car working on type shop. Why did you incorporate the theater part into it? Well,
I definitely wanted, because you have home theaters, and home theaters are great. We have no intentions on selling the house that we're in because of the housing. I mean, houses are crazy expensive now, and we just don't have. That's how we're able to do this. We keep our day-to-day expenses down. We don't drive, late model vehicles, and so I was like, well, I'm probably never going to have that actual home theater. Just put one in the shop.
And then, enjoy yourself here while you're here.
Right. So, and then the other part of that is like the bar.
Yeah.
Former Marine, man.
Right.
They say once you're a Marine, always a Marine. Marines drink beer.
Right.
A lot of my car people, we drink beer. So a bar is a good place to congregate, watch the game, that type of stuff. I love going to sport bars. I love the feel of sport bars. I love the lighting. I love everything about a good sports bar.
Right.
But it's just a fantasy. Like, man, what is that like to drink in your own bar where there is no last call?
Right.
You're just there.
Yeah. So
that's one of my dreams for somebody like yourself to call and be like, hey, man, where you at? I'm at the bar. Where at? My bar. That's where I'm at. So that's where that comes from.
So look, I see that we went upstairs and you showed us the pictures of the
samples.
The samples. And I love how you, because Teresa has a special touch in design.
Oh my God, y'all ain't seen nothing yet.
And I wanted to see was she apprehensive about jumping into that?
Not at all.
She loved
that? No. Actually, one time, she actually forbid me from putting up any signs. And we got this big wall. I'll B-roll in this big wall. It's the mezzanine wall. It's roughly 24 Yeah, it's about 24 by, I don't know how tall it is, maybe 10 feet. Prime for signs, and that's why we did it the way. And she
Okay.
was like, you are not to put one sign up
She's
until
the
I
total
start.
design of
Right, she is the total design. So one cool thing we thought about doing is whenever I get some like the scaffolding and some of this stuff cleared out of here, we're gonna take a good clean picture of this wall, and we're gonna bring it in a Photoshop scale model. I've already actually started on this. I'll just drop a little quick picture of it, and the signs will be to scale.
Okay.
So now we can arrange them how we want. And in effort to get more interaction with the channel and the social media side of things, what we might do is do 2 to 3 arrangements and take a poll on what people like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're gonna get the
crowd involved.
Yeah. Oh,
the
that's
followers.
great. That's good.
But she's the type of person, she's just looking for an excuse to decorate.
So look, there's a lot that you've done, and I know you've started from ground up. But is there an actual date of completion, or is this going to be an ongoing process?
Well, I don't want to give out too information because this is private property. It's not in a commercial area, and it's about an hour away from my house.
Right.
So, and I work a crazy schedule on call, so I can only get up here X amount per week.
Well, it's amazing what you've done, just working in your not spare time,
not even spare time,
but
just,
what you've accomplished in the time that you have to put this together.
She say that a lot of people tell me that. Going back to what you said about you knowing me and everything, man, I don't think people realize how hard I push myself. Seriously. And I'm not saying I disagree. I just know how much time I have wasted.
Right.
To where I could be even further along.
Right.
So, but one of the things I say to people, because I've had people say, "Oh, you'll never finish those cars." I was like, "Well, if I told you I was gonna have this much shop built in 2 years, you told me I ain't gonna do that neither."
Yeah.
So I'm not comparing myself to Michael Jordan, but like his dad used to say to him, never tell him what he can't do.
Right.
And I get sparked up on that.
That's what people that are creative and innovative and visionary, they never cease, and nothing stops them.
Right. I don't think
nothing can discredit them.
Right.
And just words that discredit them make them hungry.
It fuels you. And Jamie Foxx said it about when you're creative, you get other stuff with it.
Right.
Quirks and stuff, so I can admit that I have those,
Yeah.
But I can't turn this off.
Right.
Like, no matter where I'm at, most of the time, within whether say I'm in this environment for 2 hours and then I'm in the next environment for 3 hours, both of those times I'm going to think about this.
Right.
I'm problem solving. How do I do this? I'm not a contractor. I don't know construction. I didn't grow up with a dad that taught him all this stuff. A lot of this stuff I'm learning. Hell, I'm just now getting to the point where my cuts are coming out straight and even. So the time frame, I just really don't know because I can just work on it when I can. And I tell people, I don't know if you've ever seen that movie Lucy.
No.
When it was with Scarlett Johansson, and they was asking Morgan Freeman, like, hey, at this percent she can move objects, and they was like, well, what happened when she get to 100%? He said, I have no idea.
Okay.
So when people ask, when is it gonna be finished? And it seems like a lot of times people ask me that sarcastically. Man, so when is it gonna be done?
Yeah.
Like, dude, do you
just
have any
keep
idea?
pushing.
I'm just pushing, man.
When you start, what would you? Since you're doing this by yourself, not by yourself, but most of it by yourself, mainly.
Yeah.
What would you advise other people that want to take on a project such as this to do? How would you advise them?
Right back to what I said earlier. Get started.
Get started.
Okay, guys, that's gonna do it for the first video. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, so that we can grow the channel. And if you want to support us, please get some merch. You can DM us. We do have merch in stock right now. We'll have the store up at about the end of summer. So we really appreciate everything. And thank you for helping us grow the channel. Hooligan X Motorsports.